Welcome to our YouTube channel. Again, we are the experts for pregnancy and postpartum care, pediatric as well, but today we're talking 4th trimester postpartum care. Subscribe if you haven't. Watch for the stretches at the end of the video. We're gonna start with adjusting and the techniques we do in office, and again, then we'll get into the stuff that you can do at home to help prevent mommy arm, mommy shoulder, because let's be honest, you're getting stuck rolling forward and all of this stuff gets really painful over the course of time. It can even translate into your neck because of that forward hunch with carrying your little one. We're gonna start with beetle on the table. So in the office, when we're working on a shoulder, we get into the surrounding musculature, which makes a huge difference. If you can lengthen through here, you're naturally going to be able to bring those shoulders back and you're going to get more relief throughout that upper back and neck region. So in here is where we go, and she's already making faces. I pin it, we stretch it, but then I have her activate it and do the movement herself while I stay pinned through that muscle tissue. So this is that anterior pec. It is brutal, but it is also wonderful. And then what we can do from there is go right into a subscap stretch, which she's gonna really make faces for. This one's brutal. This is part of your rotator cuff. It's the one part of the 4 muscles that make up your rotator cuff that actually rolls you inward, rolls you forward. So what we're trying to do is lengthen it so that you're less likely to pull forward. This is up into the armpit. So again, something we're doing in office. So I would pin it. She would lengthen it. I mean, I usually do the first lengthener, but then I have my patient activate. So go ahead. And most patients make that face. Yes, they do. And then if we have to add on any additional rotator cuff stretches, we would do it on the back side. Again, just a lot of lengthening through that shoulder joint, making sure that we're really creating a lot of space. When we go to adjust, the adjustment for a shoulder is a little different than it is for your spine. The shoulder complex is just a completely different complex. So we're working on mobilization, but you're not looking for that big poppy noise or that air escaping the joint space the same way you are in the spine. So for this, for all intents and purposes, I'm just gonna do one. So you get the idea. We have what's called a drop table. It kicks up, and then what we do is get into the joint space. We work on the mobility of the shoulder, and where we feel it kind of sticky is where we drop through. And I need to loosen it a little bit. We usually have to dance a little bit with the shoulders. So same thing here. I'm gonna have her actually straighten through there. Good. I'll be on her shoulder. I'm gonna bring it around and drop through. So she gets some mobilization through that joint space. Then what we do is we get into the thoracic spine, that upper thoracic spine, and kind of the lower, well, even mid neck region. So I'm gonna have her sit up for me. In this case, I could have her laying face down, but I'll be honest, if I have the choice with a mama postpartum, it's gonna be on her back like this because A, we're gonna get more movement. We can potentially look at getting some rib stuff if some ribs are bugging them. And we just tend to get a little more movement.
Well,
so,
and like laying on, you know, if you are nursing, laying on your chest may not be the most
Thank
comfortable.
you.
So having
Yes.
being on the back is, I mean, a 2-for-1 at that rate.
It's a twofer.
It's a 2-for-1.
Yeah, it's a twofer. Okay, big hug. So with this, again, just getting mobility and movement through that spine. So I would follow through here and just move that joint space. Come on up. And then she is going to lay back, and I'll just show you neck adjustment-wise what it looks like. So for her, it's going to be right in here. I would bring her over. Again, not a ton of rotation. It has a lot more to do with that lateral flexion and the decompression. And we can do this seated too for women. I mean, we can really move them around however they need be. Bodies are all really different. So especially where, you know, when you're postpartum, we're gonna really meet you where you're at because it just depends on what you're dealing with, how much pain you're really in, how much discomfort you're in regard to carrying your little one. I just had a patient in 2 days ago who came from the grocery store and literally like couldn't take a deep breath and couldn't move. She was 2 weeks out. So it's just a good reminder that that can happen. And the neat thing is she came in today, 2 days later after the treatment we did 2 days ago, and she's a completely different person and she's able to move. And so there are things that we can do to really make a huge difference and to just remind yourself that it doesn't have to be quite so scary. When it comes to carrying your little one, nursing or not, you want to make sure you're doing both sides pretty evenly. So the thing we see in here is a lot of one-sidedness, which lends itself to pain and discomfort in one side, and again, just tension holding. So if you can switch sides, it's better. Usually what we see is for a right dominant mama, she's going to be holding on the left side. And this actually goes for all partners, all parents, all people helping with the kiddo, grandparents included. Make sure everybody's using two sides if they can. Help remind them, because it makes a world of difference on the mechanical side of things. It's huge. And then the other thing is, when you're holding or feeding, you want to make sure that you're bringing yourself up to a higher level, so that, now pretend she has something behind her here, but if you were to look at the difference, go ahead and bring your legs down. If she has to lean forward to get, well, how do I say this? The pillow would be here.
Yeah.
To get into her position, she'd be leaning forward if her legs were low. The second she brings her legs up, she is forced to lean back a little bit and watch her posture. So don't forget to put something under your feet that brings height to the way that you're holding, because it will make a huge difference for your neck and upper back.
You could still have a pillow here too, and have it even like right up in front of you.
Absolutely.
Either way for comfort, just getting the knees up is what we're really looking for here.
Absolutely. Now we're going to get into the Pilates ball. We'll do it on the table here,
Okay.
but pretend this is the floor or
Please,
anything.
actually.
What'd you say?
I said please actually be on the floor.
Please be on the floor.
Please.
This is like our favorite tool. It's probably the best. I think it's anywhere from $5 to $10 that you're ever going to spend in your life. I still use mine every day, and I'm a decade out, but it's amazing for opening up those shoulders. So I'm going to have her put it between her shoulder blades here, and she's just going to lay over it and goal post her arms. And this is literally my favorite tool.
Is it your favorite?
It's my favorite tool. It's decompressing the spine, it's lengthening the muscle tissue, it's taking pressure off those nerve roots. It's going to create a ton of relief. So this is the type of thing you could do just for 10 seconds once a day. It'll make a world of difference. Ideally, I'd love for you to do it 10 times a day, but if you were to just do it consistently, it would make a huge difference. I'm going to have you come on up.
Yeah.
Now from here, she's going to go on to, good luck. We
Also
don't have a ton
on
of
the floor.
space.
On the floor.
This would be on the floor, but I'm gonna actually be lay on it backward.
Yep.
So she's gonna lay here. I'm going to make sure she doesn't roll off. But can you see the decompression through that upper back shoulder region? Again, she can goal post her arms or just let them hang. Either way, she's gonna get a ton of relief through that upper body. Use this. Most women have this around from pregnancy. So use it, keep it out, and I would honestly keep it out forever. I would do this a lot, because decompressing your spine like this helps to reduce any inflammatory response or arthritic change or discomfort. So yeah, keep your ball out. Okay, up you go.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna run through our favorite sequence of stretches and exercises that we love for women, especially when they're freshly postpartum. I'm not gonna run through the whole thing. We're gonna link it here. I mean, you'll see it pop up here with the actual stretches that we do in real time. But for all intents and purposes, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. It's activation and stretch, okay? So what we do is we have mamas up against a wall, and they're going to retract and row. I'm gonna have moms do that 3 different times. So yeah, you could literally be standing like beetle. You don't even have to be against a wall. But the neat thing with this is you can get a ton of movement and relief and activation while you're just hanging out with your kids in the kitchen, in the living room, in the bathroom, it doesn't matter. And then what you do is you take your arm, either one, you turn the opposite direction 45 degrees and you drop. This gets those upper traps. So yeah, and you wanna make sure you really keep that posture, because it ends up giving you a better stretch through those upper traps. Lastly, what I love is for women to get against a wall or a doorway. You move you put your arm at 90 degrees, you step into it, you kind of twist outward from it, and you're opening up those pecs. So with this sequence, now we've stretched the front, stretched the back, activated through the back and the front, and you're gonna get a ton of relief, because again, it's something you could do consistently. It's very manageable, very doable when you're home with a newborn. So good luck out there. Remember, subscribe if you haven't. Ask us questions if you have them. Check out all of our videos for upper back, neck, for nursing, for even nursing holds, or anything suitable for 4th trimester. Check it out.